You should have followed regarding stream is live.
Okay, good
Okay.
evening, everyone. Hmm, hmm. So Gio, you can continue. There was overlap between the two of us.
No. I was looking at some comments. GP sir, what strategy should I follow regarding the theta question in
Mhm.
quant? Should I do them in round two because there are no options to reaffirm the Jugaad solution? Is a question by Parth.
Okay.
And we should,
पार्थ ने
मेरे हिसाब से sorry.
अगर पार्थ ने कोई 4-5 कमेंट डाला है. हाँ, हाँ, ठीक है, ठीक है. No problem.
Shankar
सॉरी बहुत लेट है.
Pranshu, two
Shankar says
numbers.
namaste. Tanshu says good evening. So we have India and Bharat both available now. Okay. So Ritvik has an issue with question 5. So let me just share the PPT and then we can start discussing. See the screen. Okay. Window, Chrome tab, entire screen. Okay, I'll share the entire screen because if there's a window, you normally share the entire screen, na?
You can share, you have a choice to share just that window also.
No, it's not opening, it's not showing actually. Okay, let me just try
Question
that
5,
again.
correct logic should avoid good logic. It shouldn't just be a weird logic. Question 5, there is no problem. It's a correct logic. There is absolutely no problem with question 5.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, whatever it is, I'll just share from my computer directly here. Okay, I'll share the screen. Yeah, I think that'll be easier for me.
Yeah.
Entire screen. Okay. And now I'll go to the, yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
I hope it is visible. I
Yeah,
can't
it
see
is.
anyone.
Yeah,
I
it is
can't see.
visible.
I can't see anyone. So let's get started. So this is the overall story, and close to CAT-22 is what I would say by and large. Minor variations here or there, but closer to CAT-22 as compared to the CAT-21 paper. Okay. I think I should get my tab also. That's not here. So okay, I'll get it as we go along. Okay. Okay. So Jijo, can you just take it from here while I get my tab and connect it? Because normally
Sure,
you
sure,
all should be connected. So give me a couple of minutes. I'll be so you'll have to hold for. Okay.
sure. So I'll start by asking Shivku in terms of what is a overall sort of logic that he thought when about this particular mock.
Um, the design was verbal was a little tough, should be a little tougher than the last one, and DLR get it as close as possible to CAT, and make quant a little more difficult, though it looks like it's become a little more easier than the last years. We tried maybe I think one or two questions which were more difficult could have changed this, but the idea was to make sure that the length of the passages and all those things were at least in sync with what the actual cat is. I'm pleasantly surprised, to tell you frankly, that the quant marks are a little higher than what I thought would be. DI is more or less on the very similar, uh, something very similar to what I would have thought would be the cat score. Um, we wanted in DI one easy calculations base, which looks new, but the moment you start doing it, it's very easy. And the other three, we thought we should put in stuff that makes it easier. That make I mean, where there is in the remaining 15 questions, there should be about 4 to 5 questions that students are able to do. So effectively, about 8 to 9 should have been solvable in DI, and about 12, 13 solvable in quant. That was the broad design, and uh, it seems to be more or less in sync with what we thought should be the paper.
So basically, whatever is a downside that happened with respect to VRC from last kind of got mapped with the uh, the QA, and then sort of the score became pretty close to 22. Yeah, VRC was slightly on the difficult side. Everybody's calling me the evil question setter. Okay, so so
So let's see, Gigi, I'll just go to the VRC slide. Yeah, there is the status.
now, technically speaking, so if you actually look at least till about the 97th percentile, it's my by and large the same like 2022, and
Yeah,
maybe about the
it's good.
99,
Yeah.
99.5 percentile. That's like one question different, and they're 38. So basically, what happened at very high percentile, people used to get a certain kind of marks. So I'm guessing that
Hmm.
people are hitting 99.5 percentile is attempting at least trying to attempt all the question.
Yeah.
Given the challenges that this particular test uh, gave them, so obviously they picked up a little more negatives than
Hmm.
usual. That's probably would have happened. So instead of maybe, uh, so they would have taken a little more risk. So, but by and large, the story with respect to others is the same. So if somebody is consistently attempting two RCs and VA is
Hmm.
like hoping something will happen, and that's the story. So if I were to look at 85th percentile,
Yeah.
so obviously it would be probably somewhere in the, so this is like an IM Lucknow cutoff, which is the highest
Ah.
sectional cutoff. Every other
Hmm.
institute has got less than 85% cutoff. So we're looking about 8 question net correct,
Yeah.
and we want to hit about the 99% is 12 question net correct. So if someone was saying that is it extremely difficult, it is not. But I can understand where sort of the story is coming from, where the issue is coming from. I think if we go to the next slide, uh, so there are so basically what
Teacher, the
happened,
story is here.
huh?
There is the issue.
So basically what
Level.
happened is VA. So me and
Hmm.
Shivku were having a discussion. So
Hmm.
in terms of how to treat VA. So usually,
Hmm.
what was the case was paragraph, some
Hmm.
sentence placement question or paragraph completion question. At least one of
Hmm.
the question was easy to nail, and they were very obvious one. So here the design was to pick up questions which is where there were probably couple of blanks where the sentence could go, and it had you little more logic to it. So that was the pain. And the two paragraph jumble, I would say, is unnecessarily difficult. I can admit that. I if and I if I look at question number 17 to 21, 17 is a paragraph completion question, 18 is a paragraph summary question, and 19 is a paragraph completion question, 20 is paragraph summary, 21 is paragraph jumble, 22 is paragraph jumble, 23 is uh, paragraph summary, and 24 is paragraph jumble. Uh, so basically, what happened if you look at the paragraph summary questions? So basically, there was no green there. The
Yeah.
paragraph summary two is at least it was very close to about 50 percentage. So maybe you can get about a couple of paragraph summary question correct, and it's very likely that you probably would have made one more correct. So somebody able to get close to about 10 marks out of it would have reasonably done well. Another thing, overall, when you look at the paper, given the fact that the entire VA was on red, you have about 50% of the questions turned out to be hard. So which we actually look at, if you look at the VA distribution in terms of green, yellow, and red. So that was hard. But when you look at reading comprehension, it's it's kind of pretty similar. Obviously, there were the little challenges with respect to some of the question. Some of you have issues with question number 5. Whether extraterrestrial source does it necessarily mean extraterrestrial life form? Okay, so
Yeah. Obviously, they
extraterrestrial.
don't.
Huh?
ET,
Yeah,
ET source need not be equal to ET life.
yeah, that's all. Oh,
Hmm.
that basically is a issue that some people had. So do you have a paper, GP? Then I can just
Yeah,
run
yeah,
through.
sure. I'll have to remove this. I'll just get the paper also. No issues at all. Give me a minute. Let me see if I have stop screen sharing. Let me get the paper
In
first.
between, if there are any question, any comments, I'll pick
Yes.
those up.
Hmm, 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 hmm.
Yeah, so usually I
Hmm.
get 6 to 7 questions correct VA, but this time I got only one. I got only one. RC helped me. So that's sort of that is a story. So so that was, sorry, anything else? Any other comment? Uh, Dijita, please answer. 10 CDC plus PYQ last 5 years sufficient to 99%? Yeah, sufficient. Whether it's sufficient is a difficult question to answer. Whether necessary is a difficult question to answer. But if you uh, if you if you kind of do it really well, the if you kind of do it with a lot of analysis, great. So will the last CDC be easy? Well, I mean, it's an irrelevant question. Whether it is test is going to be easy or difficult, unfortunately, somebody is going to be on top, somebody is going to be on bottom. Whether it is easy or difficult test, somebody is there. You when you put the students in terms of the scale of rank, eventually it's ranking. So I don't know whether paper being easy doesn't make any difference, or paper being different difficult doesn't make any difficult. At the end of the day, what I believe is not to have any pre-decided strategy and do the best that you can in the paper. So your question that you want to answer is, instead of sort of saying the paper was difficult, therefore it was a problem for me, or whether paper is easy, therefore it is not a problem for me. It's a wrong logic. Logic is irrespective whether it's paper easy or difficult. You should have whether you made good decisions. So okay, there you go. So basically, I think problem with some of these passages is it was very boring to read. The first passage was on visuality, and if I go through the questions, let me just open.
Yeah.
So
Teacher, that's fine. Or should I, or would you want the PPT? I can do both.
yeah, this fine. So let me also just
Okay.
open the uh, tab here, okay,
Mhm.
so that I have for my reference
Mhm.
the percentage questions. Okay. So here, for example, the first three questions was pretty straightforward,
Mhm.
right? Anyone, in fact, the first question, the percentage accuracy was about 75%. If at all somebody had a problem, the people would have had a
Mhm.
problem with the last question, which is question number 4. Uh, so this is probably the issue that happened, because this question required someone to interpret between two multiple concept that is given in the passage, and to make a mistake in this question, knowing that I'm very certain that people have looked at question number 4 would have got confused between option. The sensible thing to do is that if you're confused between option, you could have left it and moved on to the next passage. But I think that in the first passage, I think 9 questions was there for taking. With even negative marks, we can look at about 8 questions. If somebody made a mistake in the first and third question, it's definitely a problem. But I think the second question also was manageable. I think though only 50 percentage got that question correct, um, and which is very surprising, because the second question was the passage clearly talked about what is vision and what is visuality. Vision is about seeing, visuality is about interpreting what you saw based on collective narratives. It's sort of pretty easy to pick. So the first three, so none of this, but the first three questions does not require anybody to have any deep understanding whatsoever.
Actually, Jijo, question
Hmm.
number two
Huh.
is to me. You can possibly answer it without reading the passage. Look at the choices. Vision is camera taking photo. Visuality is art of choosing the right angle. Vision is akin to tool selecting pictures, whereas visuality is the tool of is the tool guide. Vision can be compared to street building. Visuality is understanding historical, etc., etc. So if you look at it, I think if you have just even skimmed the passage, this should be done. This should not be difficult.
So this first three was there, and if I go to the second passage, so one of the thing that probably was done, which was very difficult. See, this particular first passage was taken from Encyclopedia of Human Geography, and it is the same encyclopedia. The cat has picked up two passages in the past. I don't know if anyone remember the passage on topophilia. I think this was one of the previous year 2019 cat passage, and there was another passage on visual culture. This was the passage I believe was 2020 passage, and these two passages were taken from that Encyclopedia of Human Geography by Barney Wharf. So it was in the same book that was the first passage was taken. The second passage was in Origins of Life, but the problem with this particular passage is too many ideas were thrown. So there was too many names. So there is Charles Darwin's wanted to say something. There is Louis Pasteur saying something. Then one more individual saying something. Then there's a parents' view that is saying something. So what probably would have happened with the students, there is nothing. This particular passage did not have sort of any argument. So sort of say it's sort of yarn that is given. This was also taken from another encyclopedia. I think everybody had a problem with question number 5. All of the following statement, if false, could be seen as in accordance with the passage except. So the first issue would be dealing with all those double negative. So if false is negative, in accordance with is positive, except is
Positive.
negative. So negative, negative,
Positive.
positive. So what is the passage saying? So you're sort of, so if for everybody had issue, I think this was majority marked answer choice number two. That Swante Arrhenius has held the view that life on Earth was seeded by life forms from outer space. If you go to the passage, I think this would be in paragraph number two of this. Uh, if you go, I think paragraph, yeah, paragraph number two. Okay, there you go. Okay, so if you read paragraph number two, it says that in the third line, I think in the third line, says the Swedish chemist Svante Arrhenius postulated that Earth has been seeded somehow by some unknown extraterrestrial source. The passage itself is very, passage itself बोलेंगे उसको पता नहीं था, कुछ तो कहीं से किसी ने तो डाल के चला गया. So that's what the passage is. Extraterrestrial, everybody thought has to be an alien. Extraterrestrial just been outside of Earth. So that was sort of why that life form is a problem. And if you just go the first paragraph, GP,
Yeah.
yeah. So here, for example, it says, if you look at the last couple of sentences, which start from the fourth line from there, yeah, it says, can life arise from inorganic matter? So basically, talk about one of the central question was spontaneous generation. Can life arise from inorganic matter without the action of a person, some kind of pre-existing living organism? So one thing was to interpret what spontaneous generation is, which means can life generating from a pre-existing living organism. And then Louis Pasteur said, answered it authoritatively, conducted experiment with liquids, carefully prepared tubes that suggested that spontaneous life generation did not occur. So according to Louis Pasteur, it's clear that spontaneous generation did not occur, which means according to Louis Pasteur, pre-existing life form was
Life is.
necessary.
Yeah.
So if you just go to that question number one, so this was the fifth question there. So वो तो है option number 3. So
Yeah.
so there is so it was just that that option number 3 required to interpret two sentences simultaneously. Option number 2 was, it was too, I mean, as a question that it was too, it's a question that are being little evil. So that's all. But I think question number 6, 7, and 8 was all trackable. I think none of the questions 6, 7, and 8 required any deep understanding of the passage. So again, from this particular passage, there was a possibility. Let's say even if I made a mistake in question number 1, I would have had a possibility to get another 8. So 8 plus 8, I'm looking at about 16 marks from these two. So 8 plus 8, 16, right? 3. Passage number 3 was probably the easiest passage to read. I don't know whether people found it easy passage to read. So entire passage talks about this was actually taken from a book on oil wars. This was from a book that I've picked up this particular passage, one short reading. So the entire passage actually talking about need, greed, dichotomy. And towards the last paragraph, if you just go through last paragraph, the last paragraph says that this is based on a couple of myths. So author is basically saying that it's a ठीक है, but the dichotomy that is created, the war is either because of need, because for my survival, मेरे को resource चाहिए, greed नहीं है. I just want to ensure that for my need I go to war. Another is for greed, I want to expand. But then the passage, it is based on two myths. And if somebody had to just get, so look at, for example, question number 9, right? Question number 9, people made mistake. Okay. So if I read question number 9, so the question number 9, the percentage accuracy is about 35%. The question number 9 says they may nonetheless engage in violence when two actors require the same thing, which only one can possess. So they are fighting for the same thing. एक को ही मिलेगा तो चीज. Under these zero sum circumstances, which is -1, 0, एक को नहीं मिलने वाला है, एक को मिलने वाला है. Morgenthau observed struggles and competition ensure. So basically saying that this particular sentence, if you just interpret that sentence, I don't have to read the passage. That sentence says that when there are a resource which only one person can take, conflict hota hai. And everybody marked answer choice, majority marked answer choice number 1. And answer choice number 1 said when two parties covered a shareable resource. Resource shareable kaise ho gaya? The resource cannot be shared. Okay. So then they marked answer choice number 1. And the second favorite was answer choice number 3. If you read answer choice number 3, conflict of interest are the result of violence. Ulta hai. Violence is the result of conflict of interest. And there are people who marked answer choice number 4, which is just I think, simple misinterpretation of what is zero sum circumstances mean. So competition of scarce resources result in violence when there is zero winner. Thought a zero winner. One person is going to win. That is not zero sum. Okay. So if you actually think about it, there is no way this particular thing had to have a 35% accuracy or whatever, 35% accuracy. People should have got this question correct. And then you go question number 10. That was, I think, the 9% accuracy. I think this particular question. Oh, yeah, it is basically uh, so. So I think the problem with this particular question was one sentence was given. Uh, Both these motives offer possible explanation for resource wars. But the question is, author's attitude towards need and greed motives can be described as being. So that author's attitude is in general about it. And the last passage, it is saying that is based on two myths, and myths are false belief. The cat has only once Shivko has asked a tone question in the entire last 5 years. एक ही बार पूछा है.
Hmm.
That was
Hmm.
2020 slot 2, I believe.
Hmm.
So it was kind of a question where I thought I will put a tone question in, and
Hmm.
the only thing was the option. If you read every option, there is a merit in answering all. So basically, each one 25% went for option 1, 25 to option 2, 25 to option 3, 25 to option 4. So this was sort of painful question. And and the next one, 11. I think 11th question. I think 11th question, I understand. So the I think people would have fallen for option number 2, because it was kind of disguised and given. Uh, but option number 4 was actually very easy to pick up. Civil War researchers in 1990 proposed a simplified version. The option never says that out of the need greed dichotomy, चार dichotomy दिया है. I think एक हॉब्स का, एक ग्लेजर का, एक मॉर्गन टाउन का, एक सिविल वॉर रिसर्चर्स. Out of the four, the passage never says 4 had the simplified version among these 4. What the passage said, but all these were simplified. All the 4, everything was simplification. So it was sort of painful. So and then we have the last question. This was clean. I think that I don't know why anyone could have made a mistake in this. 60% accuracy 12 would have been correct. So if at all people had an issue, I think it's quite possible that somebody would have probably got a 0 here. But my feeling is that if you got, let's say, if you can take about, I think, 5 marks from here, I think you would have done a good job. So 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 5 is even in 9, 20, 21. 23 okay, na? So the last passage was so basically what happened here is people basically chose the first passage, and then it was just you don't know which one to pick. So for those of you selecting the passage, everything was very dry. This was very dry. If anyone would have actually remember reading solving CAT 2021 passage on Naomi Chomsky and Steven Pinker. Okay, so where the passage talks about the idea that language is innate. If anyone had solved that particular passage, and this particular passage has got, basically the topic is still the same. The passage just had one idea. Idea was there is a Skinner by who is basically saying that language is based on environment reinforcement, language acquisition. Chomsky, the other guy, is saying that language is not based on it, but it actually based on it's more innate. People have inbuilt language. If people would have understood, they would have got questions correct. Out of this, the first two questions were straightforward. I think question number 13 and question number 14 was definitely safe. I think there is no way somebody made a mistake, and people uh, it's impossible to make. I think if I made a mistake in these two questions, would have been a silly mistake. Question number 15 was um, the question number 50. I understand why someone would have, you had to eliminate to get to the answer, because you could have eliminated. Chomsky is essentially saying that language is innate, right? The passage doesn't specifically talk about grammatical rule. This was sort of interpretation. The Chomsky is saying innate. Skinner is saying it is about imitation. Uh, the language needs a lot of learning, reinforcement. So if you had just eliminated, you could have easily eliminated options 1, 3, and 4 straight, and then you would have marked answer choice number 2. I think question number 16 also had sort of small trap. But here again, I would believe that you could have got two questions correct. Maybe about another 5, 10, 10 plus 16, 26. 26, 26, 28 was then taken. Obviously, that means that people had to look at all the four passages. If you've taken the three passages, assuming that you have picked up the first passage, and then you probably will get a score of, I don't know, 8 to 13, maybe 16, 15 questions. And from here on, the hierarchy started. So I just want to pick up this one question. So basically, when somebody looked at the word in essence, I think majority of the people said ये तो summary है. ओके, इसको सीधा जाके ऑप्शन नंबर 4 में ठोक देंगे. Okay, so the option number 4, so in essence has essentially, in essence does not necessarily mean summary. It basically says basically. That's what meaning says, a reinterpretation. And this sentence is talking about, in essence, it's a short-term tactic with the long-term repercussions for professional integrity. Professional integrity is for an individual. And the sentence before option 3 is talking about individual, for an employee, junior staff. And the sentence before sentence number 4, blank number 4, is actually talking about workplace culture. It has gone somewhere else. So this was sort of a pain. Question number 18, or 18, if we go to 18, I don't know why people made mistake here. This was manageable actually. 18 was manageable. 19, okay, 19 is about, I think people got confused whether इसको एक में डालना है, दो में डालना है. It would have been a struggle to where to put this one and two. If you think about logically, you will put on one. This was fine. Question number 20. Question number 20 had 50% accuracy. I think this was the question that got corrected. So there was no problem in this question, unless you made a mistake. Then 21, 21. क्या था? Yeah, this was a paragraph jumble question which was crackable. Because of all the three paragraph jumble question ये कर सकता था. So my feeling is that 1, 2, 3, about 3 questions from here, and then if you go down GP 20, this was painful. तो मतलब I think basically it's about where to put sentence number 2. You would have probably got 1, 4, 3 as a block, and I think that you would have placing sentence number 2 would have been a problem. Question number 23. Question number 23 is a question where only 20% got the question correct. And I was absolutely surprised as to why people made mistake in this particular question, because if you read the passage, it says the model of crime prevention through environmental design is based on the theory that action must be taken to counter crime before it occurs. The crucial element in this model is the environmental engineering component, and the passage is talking about this environmental engineering component. The least I should find out in the answer choice is environmental engineering component, which is not there in answer choice number 1, which is uh, the northern answer choice number 3. So answer choice number 1. Okay.
1 and
The
4.
4
No,
may
4
be
is
there.
there.
4 is there.
4
It's
mein
not
hai,
the
sorry.
it's not the answer choice number 1, but the majority of the people went for answer choice number 1. So the issue that happened this time with respect to paragraph summary is, so it was not the flaw in this. There was not much of a flaw in any of these options, but it did not have coverage. So when you look at paragraph summary, usually what the cat gives is very identifiable flaws है. मतलब इसमें कुछ exaggerate किया होगा. But here the way in which it was designed is that every answer choice has got very minor error, or there is no error. There are two true statements, but one is actually given the summary. I think that would have pained, but hopefully that your cat will not be like this. Uh, the last question was the 24 was also slightly painful, crackable, but sort of painful. So here I think my sense was paragraph summary कर सकता था about two of them. Paragraph jumble 1, so about 6, 7, 7, 8 marks. So 28 plus 8, 36, 38. So that's where the 99.5 was. So it's about 38. That would have got it. So the what I would want to look at sort of this particular paper is that, first of all, I don't know what kind of paper is CAT going to give. We have at least through the 14 CDC. you had all variations, right? You had variations where you cracked VA completely. You had variations where this, but you definitely don't have any clue or any idea in terms of what is the level of difficulty of each question. There are 24 questions, easy, medium, difficult. 3 raised to 24 choices. One of the choices is it's going to be there. So one choice will happen. One you will see, you will follow in a paper. So these statements like I'm good in paragraph summary, I'm bad in paragraph summary, I'm good in this one, I'm bad in this one, I'm weak in philosophy passage, I'm good in philosophy passages, I'm weak in inference question, I have a problem with this particular question. All these are illogical statements. Uh, and the only thing that I would want to kind of take away, I would sincerely request you to go through the video solutions. I've tried to be as detailed as possible in every questions here, and I think that this explanation also I try to give it as detailed as possible. I don't know how many of you go through the explanation, so sort of as detailed as I can in terms of creating the explanations. So if you have a problem with explanation, if you've read the explanation and gone through the video, you still have an issue, don't come to me. I can't help uh, any more beyond it. इतना fight किया, explanation मस्त explanation दिया, मस्त explain the written explanation मस्त दिया, video explanation मस्त किया, उसके ऊपर I can't. So then it's about you figuring out yourself. And if you have an issue with any question, then leave it there. Leave it and move on. But I think what would be very crucial for you at this stage is not to worry about whatever the score is, right? And not to worry, but not to still worry about these things, but just reflect on or just go through each of these questions and see what kind of decision that you made, whether you made a reasonably good decision or not. I think that's sort of where I'll um,
Yeah.
end
Gijo,
this.
Shipu, there's this question. What would you say? This
Should
question from Zidam on the screen.
should in the last series he be closest to cat and not tough? I mean, yeah, ye kya hai tum? But first of all, I think the obsession of the difficulty level of the paper is something that I've never understood, right? Because first of all, nobody knows what the level of difficulty of cat itself in the first place. Cat has got 3 slots. What is cat level of difficulty?
And Gijo, if you look at last year's paper or the year before last, within the 3 slots also there was a variation in terms of degree of difficulty.
Correct.
So,
So
so
for
what
example,
difficulty are we looking
आप
at? Frankly, I've never understood.
आपका वाला स्लॉट में स्लॉट नंबर 3 कैट में passages were much very easy. I think
Yeah.
your score went down, no?
Yeah,
Scale
from
down, no?
59 it became 54.5.
Now 59 it came down to 54. That is like you
And
lost
in
6
my
marks.
slot, and my in my slot in DILR, 27 became 34.
Now
So
27
so
became
so
34. So
27 became 34. So in my slot, people gained in DILR and they lost in verbal.
so so
So
so
so
so
so
uh,
that tells you that and 27 to 34 is a jump of 2 questions, not one.
so when we plot, let's say whenever you plot, we always plot the sales scale score. But you'll be absolutely surprised if you plot the 3 score. एक स्लॉट में 27 होगा 99 परसेंटाइल में, एक स्लॉट में होगा 36 होगा ना 99 परसेंटाइल में.
Uh,
So
in my
so
slot, Gijo, 27 converted to 34 in DILR, which was 99.7 percentile.
देखो ये देखो.
Okay, so
So
ये
20,
fight है. So which is why I always say, yeah, please don't bother about degree of difficulty. We don't know what is the degree of difficulty of cat. No one knows. We will only talk in general terms because within the 3 slots also there will be a variation. Similarly, if you look at CAT 21 versus CAT 22 versus CAT 20, you'll find a variation there also. So don't worry. Your job at the end of the day is whatever paper is there in front of you, you should have done the question which you were capable of doing. You should have left the question which you were confused as far as verbal is concerned. Yes, this was a difficult paper, I would say, from the point of view of verbal ability rather than RC. Okay? And if the data, I have not done the paper, so I'm just looking at the data and saying this, that if this paper in verbal section, if you got 3 questions right, it would have been a terrific job. But on the other side, there were at least 10 questions in English which were easily solvable, 8 to 10 questions.
so
So
there were
so so
9.
had you got those 10 plus 3, 13, you would have been at least 30 plus, if not more.
So I think this obsession. So paper tough होगा तो परेशान होगा. परेशान भी है, सबके लिए tough हो रहा है ना. It's going to
सब
be tough for
परेशान
everyone.
होंगे.
What
और
is
जो
everyone?
जहां पे सब परेशान होते हैं तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
हाँ, If the paper is damn easy, then it's very painful. Then I have to solve too many questions. So सब करना पड़ेगा. Imagine, for example, एक बार याद है, we had one of these. I think this was one of the slot where the 99th percentile. This was 99th percentile is about 36 marks, right? There was one mock where 99th percentile was 49 marks. It was all yeah. Okay, so imagine. So we have got that extreme. So there, which means that if you don't look at all the 24 questions, you're dead only. No, in such a
Absolutely.
kind of paper, such a kind of paper. Either the
And this is interesting. Kushagra says he got zero from verbal, but 32 from QA, which from RC, which is fine. Kushagra, I don't have an issue with this. Because end of the day, in the your percentile will depend on the total marks, and which is what you have got. Okay. So yes, you still need to see which were those 2 or 3 verbal questions you could have got right, so that you're able to take care of that in future also.
So basically, what would have happened with Kushal is he would have basically got one correct or one question correct and three wrong, straight. So it'll be probably one paragraph summary correct, two paragraph completion of both the paragraph jumble se kuch aaya nahi hoga. But that is fine, yeah, that is fine. So if let's say if you got 13 correct in, I think that's fantastic jobs.
Yeah.
13 correct and 32 marks, no?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
13 correct, 32 marks means this will be what?
Maybe about 5 questions long.
5 questions wrong. I think if you would have saved some 5 questions, if you would have not taken some risks, uh, and maybe you would have got a sort of better chance. So,
चलो
so
ठीक है ठीक है. So I'll remove this one. Okay, so I'll just get the PPT back and let me share the screen. Share screen. Okay.
Jijo, there was one question that came up, one student's question. If there's a lot of data in a passage, I find it difficult to retain. Right?
yeah, so you have to basically trust one thing, that the cat, at least for the cat that I've seen, is not going. Last question largely based on broad ideas, right? Even when I looked at designing sort of this particular test, even though at least you can eliminate based on the key ideas or something. You don't really needed barring maybe one or question here and there. You don't need to have deep understanding of the content that is given to you. So what you essentially need to do is read as normal. Keep having ideas. So even if there are a lot of data, still have ideas. No, a paragraph kuch idea hoga. Just keep doing it, and I'm sure that you'll be able to crack as many questions as you can. And for those questions, if you have to go back to the passage up and down, chuck the question and move on, and just move on to the next passage. That's what you should. Yeah.
And one thing I want students to remember is, yeah, this paper is not meant for your entertainment. You should be ready for boring, stupid passages, because they are not there trying to entertain you and make you happy and do the paper. They're just giving you a paper, and in real life you have to read stupid stuff. So read stupid stuff and answer to the best of your ability and keep moving. Okay, let's go to DILR now. And DILR, frankly, very close to last
Slot
year's
3.
paper.
आपका slot.
नहीं,
नहीं, आप easier than your
नहीं,
slot.
This is not my slot. My slot में ये जो है, this was 99.72 percentile in my slot. 27 marks.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely not my slot. Okay. But overall, when you look at it, very very close to the actual CAT last year, but slightly more difficult as compared to CAT 21. So that definitely is there. But overall, I thought I did not think this was that difficult a paper. I would want to see, because I felt that third set was a very easy set, which most people have probably missed out. And let's go to the sets then. Okay. Yeah. First set, everything is medium. Yeah. Third set, okay, good. 1, 2, 3 questions people have got right. Second set में इतना दिक्कत क्या आया? Second set was which one? CBSE exam seating arrangement. Okay. Okay. This was not difficult, and actually I have made a jugaad solution for this set number 4. Okay. You could check it out. And though I did not solve it, when I solved the paper, I started from set now. This was my first set. This was my second set. And after that, I went to set number 3. And then I looked at set number 4. This was my sequence.
GP, aren't you surprised that second was set में इतने सारे गलतियां?
बहुत ज्यादा मेरे को हैरानी है that first question is fine, but I did not think this would be so difficult. I am happy that people have done this set number 3 well, because this is one thing which should have been done. But it may be a galti 37 and even okay, there's almost 60%, but both 37 and 35 did not feel so difficult. We'll go through them. This one was a little more tedious data set, but the attempt rate is fairly low. While the accuracy is somewhere around 50% in all of these, this was a little more tedious to work with. And the set number 4 could have been solved completely by choices. 4 out of 5 questions could have been done straight away with the help of choices. But this one I felt was a fairly easy, which is what I said. This was my first attempt and this was my second attempt. These two is what I would have recommended anyone to, if you have to pick up sets, it is set number 3 and set number 2, which have to be attempted. All you needed to do was make the 3x3 grid, 4x4 grid. Make this and start working on it. In fact, one odd question we were able to solve, I was able to solve even, okay, let's go through them. Okay, so I'll just move and take the other one. Yeah. Let's go through. Oops. Okay. Yeah. शिव को स्लाइड दिख रहा है ना?
Yeah,
दिख रहा है.
And Shiv को you could just Jijo, if you could just take that PPT accuracy वगैरह के लिए. ठीक है. First set, okay. The first set to me, the issue here was, okay, there was no issue as such. And in this question, in this passage, question 2 and question 3 should have helped you. Question 1 was a straightforward thing. If you understand the data set, question 1 was a sitter. And this is one of those sets where you need to make the table by and large to be able to solve it. Okay. But question 2 is the set number 2 is the one which I have a problem with, that people have not been able to solve. After all, you need
question number. So second question is where the accuracy level is less than 5%.
Yeah,
I think that is also because it was a theta question. Something कुछ तो डाला होगा. I think maybe that.
ये हो सकता है.
ये हो सकता है. But all I would do is make this. I'll make this and start solving each one of them. At 9 a.m., the fifth student enters the class, and how many? Okay, there are also said that 3 people are sitting there already. A4, D3, D. Okay. A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4. A4, there's a boy already. B3 and D1.
B2, C1 and C3.
Sorry. A4, B2, C1, C3. A4, B2, C1 and C3. Yeah. Okay. Now, actually, Shivku, ये वाला सवाल तो पढ़ते ही हो गया था ना? Because if you look at the information given, where was this? The column is left to right. Okay, ठीक है. So seat number. Okay. Yes, this line. I'll just highlight this part. Okay. Yeah. What this means is maximum of 2 boys in any row.
Correct.
This means a maximum of 2 boys in any row. Now look at this next with this question, the first one. Minimum number of girls. If I can have maximum of 2 boys in any row, that means the maximum number of boys has to be equal to 8, because you cannot have more than 2 boys in any row. That means the minimum number of girls has to be 8. So
ये वाला question 32 है ना? The third question.
Third question.
52% accuracy.
Yes, when I was going through the data at that point of time, I solved this question. I don't have to do the complete thing. It's all I'm trying to say. If you see, my issue is many a time people don't focus on understanding the information. If you understand the information, many a time you'll get one answer, one question straight away right. Okay, so this was there. So if I look at this particular data set, this should not have been a problem. Question 1 and question 2, I would want students to definitely look at the solution. Okay. Question 1 says, fifth student who is a boy enters the class. In how many ways can he choose to sit in the class? You just need to check out those locations. Fifth and sixth student enter the class, both of whom are boys. In how many ways they can be arranged? Okay. So, and next two questions. Okay, यहाँ पे again, see, my point here is this was a data set where you had to start making those cases if you needed to draw and do it. What was good about this is the end of the day only a 4x4 matrix. इसका definitely please go through the solution. Okay. Third set I think was fine. Fourth set mein I'll just take a couple of minutes and this is where I want student to look at this. Question 1 का इसका fourth set का question 40 लीजिए. What is the accuracy? If you can just give me the accuracy of all the 4 questions.
51, 50 पकड़ो, 50 पकड़ो.
Okay.
41, 50, 60. Next is 10. Next is 70, 75. Fourth question is 75%. The last one is touching 60%.
Okay. Now, in this question number 1, I am actually surprised with only 50% accuracy. Sum of numbers on the cards obtained in round 2 by all of them. Now, there's a question which clearly tells us that distinct maximum sum of numbers on the card was obtained by this. Now, sum of numbers from 1 to 15 is equal to 120. Okay. So that means if this is the maximum, this has to be more than the average. Okay. And when you look at the numbers which are missing, you have 3, 5, 6, 9, 12, and 14. If this has to be more than 40, the only possibilities is 12 and 14. These are the only possibilities, which comes out to be a total of 43. So again, this is all a straightforward question. Now look at something I want again students to notice. I'll just highlight a couple of things and then I'll shift to the pen again. Which of the following can be the amount of money? C picked up a card with number less than 9. Okay. 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 Now look at these two questions. These two questions are clearly telling you multiple cases. But question number 2, when you start solving this, very quickly you'll come back to say that this has to be either 6 or 9. Now, if this is 9, that means the only possibility is 9 into 763. This is straight away ruled out, and the other one can be 6 into 1. So this should not have been the problem. And all I'm trying to tell you is you don't need to fill up the table. So question 1 we have done directly. Question 2 you don't need to fill up the table. Okay. Question 3 is saying what is the total amount of money in the bowl. To do this question, you need to solve this completely. This is a question I would say leave. Don't even waste your time on this question. Question number 4, which of the following cannot be the sum of numbers? Again, if you just look at what are the possibilities here. Sum of numbers obtained by B in round 3 in all the rounds. In all the rounds. Okay. So if you look at this, B is already 7. B is either between these two. 7 plus 14 is 21 and 7 plus 12 is 19. Now the only possibilities out here are going to be 3, 5, 6, 9. Check 19, 22, 24, 25, 28. Similarly, 24, 24 and then 5, 26, 21 and 6, 27, 21 and 9, 30. So these are the only possibilities. 22 is there, 24 is there, 25 is there. This can be the only answer. This was a set which I did not solve it in the paper, to be very honest. I solved it after the paper. But once I solved it, I realized that the choices are very, very good in this question. And the last question. This I did not know, but when you looked at this one, sum of numbers obtained by all of them in round 3 is 41. Sum of numbers in round 3, can it be 41? Again, look at this. I'll just erase the stuff. Okay. Yeah. Again, if you look at round 3, round 3, we know this is 12 or 14, and this is 14 or 12. So if you are looking at geometry 13 and 10, 23 and 8, 31. And this can be 3, 5, 6 or 9. Similarly, this can be 3, 5, 6 or 9. So if I've got 3, 5, 6 or 9, what are the two number combination? Because it has to be this plus this. There are 3 plus 5, it is plus 8. If it is 3 plus 6, it is plus 9. If it is 3 plus 9, it is plus 12. Similarly, if it is 5 plus 6, it is 11. 5 plus 9 is 14. Then 6 plus 9 is 15. Now, none of them is 10. If I want this to be 10 to be 41, that means I need a 10. 31 is already a 10 is not there at all. That means sum of numbers cannot be 41. This statement is wrong. Choice 1 is wrong. Choice 2 is wrong. This is wrong. This is the answer. 4 out of 5 questions, for those of you who have picked up this data set, 4 out of 5 questions you should have done. You should have left the third question and moved on. Okay? But I definitely want people to go back and look at set number 2. This was a set which I thought people should have got it right. Okay. Shivu, anything specific from your side, iske andar?
Shiku, you're muted.
The only surprise to me, GP, is in the set 3. So the set 3 was very deliberately put in to make sure that there is one particular set which is maybe calculation focused, and very likely that most people will attempt it. So I thought that set 3 will have more attempts, or at least at par with the set 2. So set 3 seems to be fairly, I mean, only about 52% of people have attempted the first question, and all the other questions it's gone down. So that's one surprise to me. In this paper, I thought that if somebody had just said, I will do set 2 and set 3, I think there were at least 8 to 9 questions there for, even if I don't use logic, right? There's not much of a logic that is needed. Set 3, I think every question could have been done. If you had set aside, okay, 10 minute hai, 12 minute hai, whatever it is. So I feel that is one area where I think the expectation has been a little below par. I mean, the performance vis-a-vis the expectation has been below par. Otherwise, I think rest of it has been more or less as expected.
I'm happy that the number of people who attempted question 42 is fairly low. Though 41, again, question 41, had the students looked at the choices and worked with the number the way I did, it should have been fine. But for this is the Jugaad solution. But in general, I'll say this was a set and this set. I'm actually a little confused set number 1 ke baare mein, because I did not think it was so difficult. And look at the attempt rate has also gone down significantly.
उसमें थोड़ा नंबर लॉजिक है जीपी, इसलिए हम सेइंग कि whereas set 2 and set 3 में बहुत ज्यादा लॉजिक ही नहीं है.
वो बात तो ठीक है, उन दोनों के अंदर लॉजिक कुछ है नहीं. बट शिव को अगर सेट नंबर 1 में भी देखते हो ना, लुक एट दिस क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 and question number 3. How many points did Benny receive in his fourth preference? Now the number of points cannot be 3 or 4. It will be 3 into fourth preference. It will be either 3 into 6 or 4 into 6. दो choice तो निकल जाती है.
In this, the row must add up to 20 and the column must add up to 20. That's the first logic. वो अगर logic आ गया तो बाकी सब हो जाएगा. मुझे लगता है वो logic काफी लोगों को शायद they would not have hit that logic. So I think the first step is where people might have missed in this particular set. I mean, that's my guess.
Quite possible. Quite possible. ठीक है. ठीक है. ठीक है. Let's move to quant then.
Quant में Kaushik, that answer is correct, right? 165 is correct. We are changing the answer key at the back end.
Which question, Shivku?
Question number 47. Question number 47.
अच्छा. क्या है आंसर इसका?
उसमें 165 भी आता है. 165 also is a correct answer. वो मिस हो गया.
अच्छा. अच्छा. ओह, ये वो वाला है ना जो रेशियो ऑफ चॉकलेट आइसक्रीम दिया हुआ था.
हाँ, चॉकलेट्स वाला. चॉकलेट्स ने
मैंने छोड़ दिया था.
हाँ, वो आई थिंक कैलकुलेशन में मिस हो गया वो. ठीक. So QA, I think, is the idea of QA was to keep space out long questions, right? A little painful to read, little painful to understand. There are some which are logical. There's some which are you need the conceptual clarity to do it. So we had a mix of this, and we wanted it to be very close to what the CAT is. And I'm actually
Very close to last
pretty,
year's chat.
exactly, right. In fact, they say, I remember GPU coming and asking me, "Acha, quant में कैसे था performance?" I said, "Performance तो अच्छा था, right? I mean, definitely better than what I expected." So in that sense, I think people
अच्छी
are
चीज ये
choosing the
है,
right time.
what I like about this is that the people have possibly picked up the right questions to attempt. Though I'm still not happy. Question 50. Why have 50% people attempted it? Okay, so similarly, if you look at question number 46 again, almost 40% students are attempting it. But by and large, when I looked at the score, okay, when you look at this particular sheet, what this is telling us is, yeah, 39 पे 99 percentile आ रहा है, 13 question, that means people have by and large picked up the right questions to attempt. Okay? So to me, that
Good
is a
thing
big
is,
positive
GP,
from this.
good thing is when the number of the word count in that section, we have pushed it up, brought it as close as possible to CAT, right?
Mhm.
And in fact, probably a little more than CAT. I think at least the choice making of students has been better than what I expected. And this has been
Yes.
not just in this particular mock and also the previous mock.
Yes. नहीं बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. Even last month we saw this to some extent, and यहाँ पे भी है के अंदर.
So some portion of the students have learned. So if others don't catch up,
See, overall students seem to have learned. Now, obviously, there will be variation. Okay. I'll just go to the question paper also. Yeah. Let's see. This we have done. Okay. Now, यहाँ पे इसको again सवाल यही था, आसान सवाल है ये, but that length is there, and it should not have been a problem, ratio का. This question again is your standard Jugaad question. Put value of n to verify. Yeah.
this is 46 now.
I'm sorry.
46
Question
only
46.
20% accuracy.
Oh.
Really?
Probably it is because of ये होगा ना, मतलब this is because of theta question. So कुछ तो
थीटा
डाला
क्वेश्चन,
होगा.
एंड इसमें हो सकता है people would have also missed 20% कम है इसके लिए. I mean, I think मेरे ख्याल से इसमें हो जाना चाहिए था. It should be more.
It should have been more. How many positive integers n exists so that both these are 3-digit numbers? So n plus 1 by 3 has to be greater than or equal to 100. So n has to be the smallest value of n will be 300 minus 1, 299. So 299. Next will be 3.
Largest
Then
will
will
be
be
330.
5. Yeah. Similarly, so on forth. Similarly, when you look at 3n plus 1, in this case, 3n plus 1 become 903 minus 299, 897 plus 1, 898. So if this is going up by 3, this will go up by 907.
GP
So
वो
this is
largest
plus
number ना, largest
हाँ.
value of n will be 332.
हाँ, मैं
Because
उस पे ही आ रहा हूँ. ठीक है. नहीं, all I'm saying is you can work either this way या फिर इधर आ जाओ. So 898 आ गया plus 9 है. This is also an arithmetic progression. Next will be 916. So from here I can add 90.
So what percent have attempted this?
This was attempted by about 40, close to 50%.
50% में 20%. I think that's maybe blind guessing then.
शिव को इसमें एक और हो सकता है, चेक करना. The answer would be 90, 99, 11, 12 होना चाहिए ना आंसर इसका.
वो 11, 12, 13 में लोग फंसते हैं.
11.
Correct.
This is the correct answer. This would be an error.
That's one.
Because 90 plus 9, 99 is 11 ना, तो 11 common difference आएंगे तो 12 terms होंगी ना.
Correct.
That's the issue possibly. ये क्वेश्चन तो छोड़ने वाला था मेरे हिसाब से. Okay. The reason why I'm saying most students should be leaving this is you don't have any numbers, you have just ratios. So the number of chocolates bought here is 4x and 3x, and the number of chocolates and ice cream bought here are 3y and 2y. Okay. So even if you take it out common, that's a separate issue, but still it is kind of a painful, and most students would probably get confused with
What
this
is the answer
question.
is 1 या 3 है क्या?
Answer is
वन
this,
वन भी
and
है,
I think
थ्री भी
that
है.
ये भी है मेरे को
once you,
1 और 3 क्यों लगा ना?
हाँ, 20,
उधर एक 220 था 11 का मल्टीपल. So I would
करेक्ट
so,
करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट.
so
ठीक है
I don't know what will happen to 300.
यार, ये जुगाड़ क्वेश्चन है
This is question
इसमें.
number 48, no? Or 48.
48, yeah.
48.
इसका attempt is 10%, accuracy is 10%.
1%, that means effectively. But I'll just give the jugaad. This is a 20 centimeter side, so this is 10 centimeters. Okay. AB is 10, two circles C1, C2, diameter ABCD are drawn. Effectively, let PQ be intersection if the circle with diameter PQ touches AB and CD. Okay, very quickly. This is an angle in a semicircle, so this is 90 degree. So if this is 10, because the radius of this particular arc is 10, this will also be 10, PQ is 10 root 2. So if PQ is 10 root 2, we need to find the area of the shaded region, which has to be lesser than the area of the circle. So the area of the circle will be pi into 5 root 2 square, which is equal to 25 into 250 pi. Yeah. Okay. So my answer has to be less than 50 pi. Now, first of all, these two cannot be the answer. 50 का डबल 100 दिया है, इसका डबल ये दिया है. वो इसलिए दिया है because you will calculate 1 and multiply with 2. So I will straight away eliminate choice 1 and 2. They cannot be the answer. The answer has to be either 3 or 4. And this is greater than 50 pi.
और डबल है इसीलिए 100 करना चाहिए.
हाँ, शिवको choice 1 or 2 तो होता ही नहीं आंसर ना, because now the standard way of solving this question, this kind of question is find this area. For example, find this and multiply with 2. That's what people will do. So which is what you have done. Choice भी उसी तरह से दिया, 50 का डबल दिया, 100 का डबल दिया. This is greater than 50 pi. So this cannot be the answer. The only choice available out here is choice 3. This should have been easy.
70% accuracy with
इसमें स्ट्रेट में मेरे को 48 लग गया था. Though the question does not say, मैंने कहा 100 से ज्यादा तो नहीं हो सकते marks. So my gut feel was 100 would be the highest. Next highest would be 99. And it says no one got less than 50 marks. So 50 and 49 होगा. Answer यही होना चाहिए. 50 and 51, sorry.
50-51.
50-51 यही होना चाहिए. दो चेक कर रहा था बाद में सॉल्व करके, but this was my intuition straight away when I looked at this question. Though I realized question में दिखा नहीं है कि maximum marks 100 है. So which is why I had to solve it. Okay. But this was a doable question. This is a question again I think most students should have left.
So but 50% attempted and the 5% got it right.
Yeah, attempt 50% करके 5% सही किया, क्या फायदा यार?
Also because it's a theta question, na, non-MCQ. So
but even if I assume half of these 50% were genuine attempts, it should not have been done. If you tell me that I just again, what is the maximum possible value of there's nothing you can do about it. What number will you pick up? But this was a question which was not a jugaad question. You have to work your way through it. You'll have to start with arithmetic mean is greater than equal to geometric mean kind of stuff. And hence this should have been left. This was not a question which should have been done. जो चिपकू कहता, some of the questions where conceptual clarity would be tested. This is one of those questions. ये तो पढ़ते पढ़ते हो गया यार. What is the accuracy here, Shipku?
90%.
90% ना, very good. This was a 30. जितना टाइम पढ़ने में लगा उतने टाइम में सवाल हो गया. I'll just tell you इसमें क्या था.
With 70% attempt, so it was pretty good.
Yeah. Samriddhi can complete the task in 30 days. After 6 days, so in 6 days she would do 20% of the work. 6 7 30. She went on leave, resumed after 3 days, but with half original speed. Half original speed means she'll do the work in 60 days. She completed a task in another 12 days. 12 on 60 is again 1/5 or 20%. So Samriddhi has done 40% of the work. She did it with the help of Sunita. So Sunita has done 60% of the work in 12 days. So she'll finish the work in the number of days required by Sunita. She'll finish the work alone in 20 days. Okay, so I would have been very disappointed अगर इसमें 90% से कम accuracy होता. ये again मेरे से हुआ नहीं. I left the question.
हाँ, ये इतना आसानी से चमकेगा नहीं.
10%, only
Geometry
10%
वो
attempted.
चमकेगा.
But 50% got it right out of the 10% attempted.
So I think only the people who are very comfortable with geometry would have
Yes.
attempted this.
Yes. Otherwise, these are questions which should have been left. This should have been done.
This is question number 53. 40% attempted, 65% accuracy.
ठीक है. I think this is okay.
This is fine. Okay. But there's something I think the attempt rate could have been higher because end of the day, real roots, sum of squares of roots, if you remember that alpha plus beta whole square is nothing but alpha square plus beta square plus 2 alpha beta. And the question is saying alpha square plus beta square for this and this is same, which is sum of squares of roots is same. So it was just a question of comparing the two and getting the answer. ये यार शिपू IFT की याद दिला दी तूने. IFT में भी यही चीज होती है, लंबी कहानी होती है, सवाल में कुछ होता नहीं है. ठीक है. So but I believe इसमें accuracy कम होगी because इसमें directly नहीं आता. You have to take that ratio in the end.
Accuracy is 20%.
मेरा फंडा है कि I think lot of attempts in quant reduces if you increase the size of the questions because it's not just about math, it's also about reading.
Yes.
If you don't have the ability,
what's the accuracy for this question? Attempt rate for question 54?
Attempt rate is 15%, accuracy is 20%.
I am not surprised with the low accuracy because मेरा वही था कि इसमें you have to look at that ratio in the end. Okay. But ठीक है.
ये वैसे क्वेश्चन आसान नहीं है.
शिव को हाँ आसान इसलिए नहीं है because you don't get you get an equation in x and y and the second equation x and y is a multiple of this.
Correct.
ठीक है ना? So the second equation is a multiple of the first equation, so you can straight away get the answer. And my point here was this is a theta, so it is not a cannot be determined. It should be able to solve it. ये तो बहुत आसान था.
Yeah.
इसका लेकिन ज्यादा अटेम्प्ट नहीं होगा. अटेम्प्ट कितना है? कम है.
30% की वजह से 30%.
Attempt with 30%, accuracy is close to 70%.
Attempt उतना ही होगा.
But this is the kind of question which you should never make because again to me then the point is have you read the question carefully? 3 vessels have equal volumes filled with mixture of liquid A, B and C. If the volumes are equal, I will assume this is 3, 2 plus 1, 3 is 5, 2 plus 7 is 9. Assume 90 liters for each of them.
हाँ बस जीपी है वही है 90 लीटर्स लेके करना चाहिए बहुत आसान
V1 V2 V3 ले लो 90 liters या 45 liters कुछ भी ले लो A and B देख लो क्या है 30 60 40% is 36 and 54 2 by 9 becomes 18 and 72 okay concentration in vessel A of the 3 vessels become 40%. In vessel 1, it becomes 40%. So this has to become 40%. If this is 40%, the total volume will be 40 into 2.5, 30 into 2.575. So whatever has happened, the total has become 75. And इसके अंदर जो था total के बेस पे ही आ जाता है आंसर. I'll just show you 60%. So if this is 60%, that means what will this become? This will be 60. And if this is 50%, this has to be 36. 75 and 60, 135, 171. 171. कहीं कुछ गलती की है क्या? Because my answer was this.
जीपी वो 30 हो गया 40% है ना? तो
30 40%, so 100% should be 75.
हाँ 36 into वो तुम्हारा 60 नहीं होगा ना 36 is 60%, which means
हाँ, टोटल
अच्छा ठीक है
60 होगा.
60 ठीक है 60 ठीक है. Then
हाँ,
18 जो है 36 है. हाँ तो
96, 101, 171. कुछ तो गलती कर रहा हूँ मैं खैर. 30, 36,
find the
66.
ratio. Maybe find the ratio of A's to B.
हाँ, बट माय पॉइंट इज द टोटल से आ जाना चाहिए. चल
175
कोई
आना
बात नहीं.
चाहिए.
50, 36, 66, 76, 84. कुछ गलती कर रहा हूँ क्या मैं? तो 84 भी नहीं आ रहा, 42 भी नहीं आ रहा. बिकॉज इफ आई रिमेम्बर गेटिंग दिस एज द आंसर. तो ठीक है यार, कहीं गलती हो
हाँ
रही होगी अभी.
हाँ.
बिकॉज मैंने जब किया था तो 45 लिया था, बट ठीक है. तो बट दिस वाज अ क्लियरली डूएबल क्वेश्चन. आई होप इसमें गलती नहीं है. कैलकुलेशन तो गलत नहीं दिख रही मुझे. अरे यार शिवकू में गलती दिख गई मुझे अपनी.
वॉल्यूम 3.
हाँ,
हाँ वॉल्यूम 3 वाला गलत है.
वही बोल रहा हूँ, कुछ तो गलती कर रहा हूँ.
8.
2/9 है ना 20.
करेक्ट.
So this becomes 40. 175. So this is the only one which is adding up to 175. यही आंसर. But
और
check
ये
करना तो 30,
यहाँ पे
66, 86. So 86, 89. There is a question you just need to take the volume as either 45 or 90 and solve it. This should have been okay. Standard question. 62 into NC2 equal to 420. I hope ये होगा. Gijo, what's the accuracy percentage for this?
57. Question 50, close to 60%.
Attempt
And
is
attempts?
60%.
Attempt is 20%.
अरे यार क्यों?
Accuracy 60%.
ये तो ये जुगाड़ क्वेश्चन. सीधा वैल्यू डाल के चेक करो ना. What is this telling you? If a is less than 0, then f of a will be equal to 0. If a is greater than 0, f of a will be equal to a. यही तो बोल रहे हैं ना. And what is how many integral values of n? Start. How many non-negative? Start from f0. Start with n equal to 0.
n is equal to 0.
F of minus 3 plus twice of f of minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2.
This will be 0.
Sorry, n plus 1 है. हाँ, n equal to 0 है ना. 0 plus 1 1 हो जाएगा. क्या कर रहा हूं मैं? So this will be equal to 2. Okay. Now you don't have to check the others. So it is positive here. Okay. So all I want to do is for how many values of n will it be? So if it's starting from n equal to 0, I will check for n equal to 16. n equal to 16 means 17 solution. 17 है तो n equal to 16. 18 है तो n equal to 17. So I'll check for n equal to 16. For n equal to 16, what does this become? This becomes f of 13 plus twice of f of 17. F of 13 will be 13 plus 34, 47. So I still have space. Check for n equal to 17. N equal to 17 will become f of 14 plus twice of f18. So 14 plus 36. 50.
50.
Greater than equal to 50. So n has to be 17. Answer has to be 2. So इसमें
But
तुम्हें खाली हाँ
वो जो f देख के ना लोग आई थिंक भाग जाते हैं.
हाँ बट इसमें वैल्यू डाल के चेक करो ना. माय रिक्वेस्ट और सजेशन टू ऑल स्टूडेंट्स इज व्हेन यू हैव दिस पुट वैल्यू, ask yourself what will be f of minus 2. F of minus 2 will be maximum of minus 2 and 0, which obviously is 0. What will be f of 2? It will be maximum of 2 and 0, which is equal to 2. So if you have doubt, put the value and verify. Don't leave it just because again 20% attempt is a very poor attempt for this question. 60% accuracy I'm still okay because यहाँ पे I'm sure the mistake would be between 17 and 18. Okay, but 20% attempt is a very low attempt for this question. ये तो आज शिपू इसमें इसमें जो है बेवकूफ बनाया तुमने सबको.
नहीं, ये वाला
क्यों?
क्वेश्चन में 80-90% एक्यूरेसी ऑलमोस्ट.
नहीं, 90% accuracy is fine. My problem is
वो
this
पहले
was
पहला
complete
पहला
waste.
स्टेटमेंट की जरूरत नहीं है, बिल्कुल.
ये complete waste है. इसकी कोई जरूरत नहीं.
हाँ,
अच्छा अच्छा.
बिल्कुल. फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट की कोई जरूरत नहीं.
हाँ. What is the attempt percentage?
Attempt percentage for this is question number 58, na?
Yeah,
35% attempt. 35%
that
attempt.
is the issue. Now, if you read the question carefully, you have a profit of 26% after giving a discount of 10%. That means if my
That's
cost price is 100 rupees, my selling price is equal to 126 rupees, my mark price should be equal to 126 upon 0.9. 40%. ये है सवाल. बस ये ऊपर की कहानी बेकार में डाल के लोगों को कंफ्यूज कर दिया. And which is why you have such a low attempt. And the accuracy is clearly telling you people who miss this question. So the one of the learning I want students to take from this paper is that you have to read a question to decide whether to attempt or not. Don't look at the question based on the length and then decide. Read the question and then decide whether you should be attempting it or not. This was fine. This should not have been a problem. ये तो शिव को मेरे को बिल्कुल मालूम नहीं था क्या कहना है.
ये वाला सवाल में attempt percentage is 60 है ना? Attempt percentage is about 30. Accuracy is 10.
Okay.
So good choice to leave.
ज्योमेट्री ना, एक ज्योमेट्री भी है.
हाँ. नहीं, ज्योमेट्री के अलावा शिव को इसमें ये जो है that two altitudes are given, we need to find the maximum possible length of the third altitude is something I think for most of the students it will be a new concept. And if it's a new concept, it's okay to leave. There's a standard Jugaad question. I hope this is fine in terms of attempt and accuracy.
The 61, no? Attempt is 35%. Accuracy is 55%.
ये वाले सवाल क्यों छोड़ देते हैं लोग यार?
तो वो एक्चुअली वो आदत नहीं होता ना कि एटलीस्ट कुछ भी नहीं होता तो एटलीस्ट राइट A0 A1 A1 A2 A3 A4.
This is what we have talked about in our race to 99 session. This is a pattern question. You write down yeah.
So all these questions, no, f of n plus 1, f of n, is at the end of it will be one sequence. I think what many people have to simply understand is a way of representing a particular sequence. And that's all. And you'll basically what pattern will sequence eventually. It's pattern only. Eventually some sort of a sequence will be there.
Most probably it will be an arithmetic progression or maybe some kind of a geometric progression or some other. But these are standard Jugaad questions. I think this is where I have an issue. While overall it seems to be fine, I can think of at least 3 questions, including this one, which are easy questions. If you read the question carefully, if you follow our Jugaad principle step by step, you will get the answer. A1 is given to us as 0.
तो बोले A2 मिल जाएगा.
an plus 1 is equal to an plus 1 plus twice under root of 1 plus an. यही दिया ना हमको.
यही दिया.
So A2 will be, this is 0, this is 0, 1 plus 2, 3. Similarly, find A3, you will find and A4. So you'll find the pattern here, you will find A15. These are pattern questions. You just need to write down 3-4 terms and you will find a sequence. This should have been fine, but for the length of the question. There's again a straightforward, simple question. Now, this is a question. If you know cosine rule, you will get it.
It's a CAT में है क्या? Cosine rule सब आना चाहिए.
हाँ, आते हैं. आता है. Now, शिवकू इसमें एक और चीज है.
इसमें गेस भी कर सकते हो जीपी.
हाँ, A B sin theta अगर है मेरा आंसर, that means sin 60. This is sin 60 ना, so it should be A B into root 3 by 2. Okay. So and one was given. This was 5 root. This was 5 root 7, and A is given as 10. Okay, na? So it is going to be 5b कुछ 15 का मल्टीपल आ रहा था मेरा आंसर जब मैं सॉल्व कर रहा था. I'd,
जीपी मैं ये वाला किया था इसको मैंने भी
हाँ,
सॉल्यूशन करते वक्त जुगाड़ नहीं मेरा मेरा स्टाइल का जुगाड़ किया था मानो B10 है तो
हाँ,
डायगोनल होगा 10
that's right.
सो तब एरिया होगा √3/4 वो 25 √3 आती है
हाँ,
आई थिंक इन दैट केस द एरिया वुड हैव बीन 50 √3
हाँ,
बट वो 5 √7 इज मोर देन 10 सो बी का वैल्यू मोर देन 10 होना
5 is
चाहिए
more. हाँ,
सो
बिल्कुल,
बी का वैल्यू मोर देन 10 है तो तुम्हारा आंसर 50 √3 से ज्यादा होना चाहिए इट हैज टू बी
that's
75
right.
√3
हाँ,
एंड 150 √3 इज टू बिग
too big. Right. ठीक है, मेरा मेरा कुछ आया था, मैं वही सोच रहा हूँ, कुछ किया था मैंने. My logic was answer has to be a multiple of 15, and so these two got eliminated straight away. These two were left, and again my logic was this was high, so I can go with this one. But ठीक है,
ये
something I'm
अवॉइडेबल है
missing.
यू कैन
Hmm.
स्किप दिस क्वेश्चन इन द
No,
एग्जाम एक्चुअली
if you know cosine rule, then you should definitely solve this question. If you don't know cosine rule, please leave this question. This was a log question, straightforward log question. Log का basic clear है तो हो जाएगा.
बिल्कुल
60% of people का बेसिक क्लियर नहीं है.
Jijo, log of the 100 base 10 is equal to x is equal to 2. Sorry, that means 100 is equal to 10 to power 2. यही लगाना है इसमें और कुछ नहीं. 3 बार लगाना है, बस यही करना है. It is not once, you will do it 3 times.
2 raised to what till ये है ना
Yeah.
1024
You
है.
see, what is this? This is nothing but 2 to power x into 5 to power y raised to power
ugly
0,
no it looks
which is
ugly
1. So this is 1. What will this be? This will be 5 to power x. Okay. So what will 1024 be? It will be 2 to power, sorry,
10.
2 to power, sorry, नहीं, 2 to power y to power into 5 to power 5x आएगा ना? Yeah.
हाँ.
Yeah. So 2 to, this entire thing is 5x, na? 5 to power x. Na? So this is 2 to power 10. So 5xy. So this is equal to 2 to power 5xy. So xy has to be equal to 2. Yeah. So ये चीज clear है. It is a doable question. If you are uncomfortable log, it is okay to leave this question. Not an issue at all. Okay. I hope people are able to pick out. Only 30 enjoy playing soccer and basketball. Exactly 60 don't play soccer. That means 90 play soccer. If you have been able to pick up this thing, then this is a sitter. Okay. This is a sitter. Okay. ये तो स्टैंडर्ड जुगाड़ क्वेश्चन है. Put x
बट
equal
इसमें
to
ना
0.
इसमें बहुत सारे लोग गलती किए होंगे दे वुड हैव मार्क्ड वन एज आंसर
Why?
एक कॉन्सेप्चुअल गलती है if I say 8 to the power of x is greater than 8 to the power of y right you will say that x is greater than y but if it is 0.8 to the power of x is greater than 0.8 to the power of y but ये वाला I think this is if people have done a mistake I think please get this thing because this is where you will get stuck in exams.
तो सॉल्व करना क्यों है? मेरा तो पहला था put x equal to 0. If I put x equal to 0, this becomes 0.8 raised to power 7 and right hand side is 0.8 raised to power 3. So obviously this will be lower. So x
Correct.
equal to 0 satisfied. मैंने तो पहले ये दोनों काट दिए. These two are fine. This stops at 2 by 3. This stops at 3 by 2. So I'll check for x equal to 1. X equal to 1 satisfies, answer is 4. Does not satisfy, answer is 2. X equal to 1 did not satisfy. If I remember correctly, then hence the answer is 3.
Correct.
तो ये तो स्टैंडर्ड जुगाड़ वाला क्वेश्चन है, इसको गलती नहीं होनी चाहिए. I can think of this is a standard जुगाड़ question. This is a जुगाड़ question. This is a जुगाड़ question. Now these are questions which you should not be missing out on. याद शिवको.
So वो actually वो initially 8 to the power of था तो मैंने उसको 0.8 कर दिया because I think
वो अच्छा किया.
जिसको
0.8
जिसको
वाला अच्छा किया.
जिसको सीधी तरीके से बिना जुगाड़ का वो कभी दिमाग नहीं चलता है they will do this mistake. At least it's a good revision to know, right?
Yeah. Conceptually, yeah.
Okay.
Which
ठीक है.
slot? GP sir. Acha, Shivku sir. Acha, Poonam,
All
you
the
have
all,
asked this question so many times, right? In the
all,
third
all the
set,
three of
in
us
the
are in the same slot. Huh?
Oh,
Wait,
Acha, no, GP is in third slot. Jijo,
I'm
you
also
and me
the.
are in the second slot. Oh,
No,
you are
I'm
in
in
the
the
I am
third
third
in
slot.
slot.
good slot.
Me
I
and
am in
GP
the
in the
second
third
slot.
slot. Okay, I thought.
हाँ.
ठीक है. जीजो, where's your
अच्छा
center?
ये
घर के पास.
घर के पास. मेरे को विक्रांत के घर के पास भेज दिया. Chipku, me, I think 4-5 of us are going to Meerut this time.
Really,
Till
eh?
last time it was only
हाँ,
me.
100 kilometers away. So
ठीक
अच्छा
है.
पूनम का जीपी एक बार एक क्वेश्चन आया है. In the
हाँ.
third set, in that border wala question, how do we know we have to add extra cells or cut it out from the resolution, right?
हाँ.
But I think वो जो
यार,
scaling में is saying the scaling factor is less than 1, obviously you will cut it out.
you'll cut it out, ना? Yeah.
और adding वाला is like that alien concept ना, वो beast में alien जो होता है. Why do you
हाँ.
bring things that don't exist in your system?
See, if I have a frame, I have to put a border. I'll put some paint on the side, ना? So उसमें issue नहीं आना चाहिए.
हाँ कनिष्क हाँ मेरठ में है.
Shivku, you are Meerut, I am Meerut, all con Meerut hai. Someone else also, na?
Amitendra is in Meerut.
Amit is also there, yeah. Anurag is saying, Jugaad solution of past cat papers. Anurag, they are available on YouTube. कुछ का डाला हुआ है मैंने. I think CAT 21 should be available. 22 we had done. 20 and 21 I had uploaded those solutions.
gpkafunda.com ना. GPK Funda.
नहीं, yeah, YouTube पे. Just look for Jugaad solutions. Great Ganesh. If you have the center in Meerut, so वहीं पे मिल लेंगे हम लोग. Okay. Before we close, Gio Shipku, this question: how should we plan to improve our scores in global and LRDI in the next few days?
So, so, see, the way in which I will answer the question is that at any point in time, I would want to improve, right? So, if let's say the way in which you want to look at the situation is, imagine you're starting your preparation today, and you have whatever the thing that you have, and you've got these next 10 days. You'll have to basically pinpoint and identify. You cannot do everything, so you'll have to identify that you're going to do everything of some things, not something of everything, right? So you have to identify what for example, for you to improve your score, there cannot be a generalized answer. My sense would be that you would have to identify तेरे को क्या करना चाहिए. For example, even today, let's say that you've neglected paragraph jumble, right? You still have 10 days. You can still go through all the CAT questions and do a crash course, sort of in the 3 days crash course on, let's say, handling paragraph jumble. You can still improve your scores. Let's say, for example, DLR, I don't know what is your specific problem. Let's say you don't know a particular kind of question. You can still, let's say, take a couple of days and solve about, go hard into some sort of question. So my answer is whether it is analyzing as many sectional or whether it's doing a particular question, it'll be very, very person dependent. And you will have to still go with the attitude that I can still improve something. I still want to get 3 more marks. And what is it I got to do with 3 more marks? And I have time with me. I will still fight till the day of the cat. So that will be my answer. I think Shivku GP can add on to that.
Yeah.
My view on this LRDI, I mean, what can you do? I mean, can you create some magic in the next few days to improve your scores? I personally don't think so, right? It's just that you need to keep the rhythm of practicing on, because us din kya hoga, ho sakta hai you might end up getting 2 easy sets. So I don't think you can prepare for improving it in 9 days. I mean, this is what I feel. But it's important to keep the rhythm of taking a test, rhythm of doing LRDI sets. I think so. Only thing that I will suggest is just continue practicing for the next 10 days.
I have a different opinion, Shivku, actually. I think I can improve in 9 days. For example, I think that when anyone looks at their preparation, there'll be a point in time whether their score were X or their level was X, and in 10 days it went to X plus delta X. So I'm not saying that it'll be to the extent that I can double my score or triple my score, but I still have to sort of identify that That
I mean,
that
I would say, Jijo, that is if it's a function of how much of practice that I've done in the past,
right.
right? So if I have not had enough practice, I think the next 10 days can make massive difference. But if I have had a lot of practice and still it is not improving, the best that I would do is to keep the rhythm on.
Yep. And also get your biological clock in place. I think.
Absolutely. I think
So
I
thankfully, I mean,
don't fall sick. Keep yourself. I mean, I think it's very very critical.
so especially those of you who are in the stupid slot number two, the Chivku Wala slot. Great. I don't. I think GP likes the slot for some reason. It's like a worst slot
No, no,
to
I
work.
prefer this slot. I prefer this slot. Slot two, I would prefer. Slot one, imagine going 100 kilometers away. I would have to wake up at
And
4:30 in
and
the
in
morning.
winters in the fog, I have done that.
Winters
There
in the
was
fog,
heavy
it's
fog traveling from Delhi to Meerut. Heavy fog, driving at the speed of 20 kilometers, just following a
You
truck
know, you should have.
and hoping that you'll make it in time.
I would have gone one day, one night previously, stay somewhere.
Yes, see, Meerut is not so far that you want to leave a day early.
But I would still do it.
You will do it because you are from Bombay, no? From Delhi, I would not do it. But
No, for
ठीक है.
example, if I
For me, second and third slot is fine. Though I would prefer second slot, but third chalta hai. Not a major issue as such.
all right,
Okay, so couple of questions. What to do if round strategy is not working? What do you mean round strategy is not working? It means you're not leaving the difficult questions. So start leaving those difficult questions. Question you don't understand, you keep leaving. See, round is not what you create. Round happens. If you keep leaving those difficult questions, a round will happen on its own. You will automatically come to round two. So there's nothing like a round has to be created. It happens if you keep leaving the difficult question. It will not happen if you don't leave the difficult question. That is all. Secondly, those of you are saying in your mocks we have never hit 99 percentile, don't worry. If you are 90, 95 percentile, 90 percentile plus, all of you have a chance of reaching 99 or beyond. Okay, so please don't worry about that part. Just make sure you are on the job, which means keep practicing, keep revising. And many of you are asking what to do in the last 1 week, 10 days, 15 days. I'll say revise a lot. And I'll just repeat what Jijo said, that do everything of something, especially in quant and DILR. Whatever you're good at, practice it so many times, revise it so many times that you will not make a mistake there. That is what you need to do. Verbal, I strongly believe, is the only section which you have a chance of completing. So try going through the paper and completing it. And the only way of completing a verbal VRC section is by leaving those confusing questions. If you start finding the answer for those, try to find the answer for those confusing questions, you will get stuck somewhere. You will waste a lot of time. Okay. So verbal, get in the habit of leaving confusing questions. Quant and DILR, next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever time, next 2 weeks, what we have, please revise a lot so that what you know, you don't make a mistake there.
I would also recommend to read. Also, don't leave that. I think
exactly.
Read as many whatever whatever you read, continue to read. With that habit and don't leave that for sure.
So GP,
Joy saying VRC crashed in the last couple of papers. Joy, its crash is fine. Okay, it is not practice issue. If it has suddenly crashed, you are taking too much pressure. And one of the problems I find in VRC especially is we want to be 100% accurate. Don't try to be 100% accurate. What you think is the right answer, mark it and move on, or leave it and move on. Just don't try to be 100% accurate, because reading the passage again does not lead to better accuracy. It leads to wastage of time and most of the time poor accuracy.
GPO rounds वाला just to G ने जो question पूछा था कि rounds का the strategy is not working. Just one question for you, G. Do you know that there exists something called as you can look at the paper, right? The question paper view. The fact that you can look at the entire paper. If you know it, and if still it is not working, just ignore my question. If you don't know, maybe it might be worth taking a look.
See, what you could do is look at that question paper, open the question paper, spend 5 minutes, go through all those 20 odd questions, identify the question you want to solve and solve them. The end of the day, with whatever method you apply, it is only about leaving those difficult questions and attempting the easy questions. Yes, Poonam, we will have analysis on the CAT day. Don't worry, a schedule will be shared. And those of you are worried कि mocks कि slot 1 में हमारे को क्या करना चाहिए, वही करना चाहिए जो slot 2 और slot 3 में करना चाहिए, which is take the papers without any pressure, leaving difficult questions. That's all.
So, this slot 1, slot 2, slot 3 is a complete useless thing in the sense that if I have a slot 3, my only paper that matters to me is slot 3. What happened in slot 1 and slot 2 irrelevant. Right. So the slot 1 math easy tha, ye easy tha. I think what is going to happen, see, you have to understand when out of the 3 lakh people taking the test, 2,50,000 is going to crib out of the paper. 2 lakhs to every slot, assuming 1 lakh people are taking the test, 95,000 people are going to crib. So the noise that is going to come out after the CAT is, oh, it is tough, yeah, tough. And GP every time comes out after DLR was easy, and public GP के पीछे पड़ता है.
क्योंकि मैं choice use कर लेता हूँ ना.
So it is the noise that is going to come out on the particular day. It is hierarchy. People are going to be disappointed. What can you do? That's a reality, right? Somebody is going to top it. Somebody is going to be in the bottom. कुछ नहीं कर सकता. This is some people are destined to fail. कुछ नहीं कर सकता. This is a reality. So avoid all the noises. I think you have to listen to your inner sort of self, and trust in yourself. To create a myth that you are the hero, to fake confidence. Okay, to do whatever you want to do to ensure that you are the sole person. You have got complete control and you will do well in the test. Yeah.
कशिश कह रहा है among the test takers around 20K तो टीचर्स भी होंगे. नहीं कशिश, इतने टीचर्स नहीं है.
कोई लिखता नहीं है.
At career launcher, many of us take the paper. Outside career launcher, very few people take the paper. So there's going to be maximum of, if I'm being very, very optimistic, it is going to be about 200 people. Okay. So and again, I'm telling you, 200 is probably a highly exaggerated, optimistic number.
20,000 teachers. If 20,000 teachers have taken this test, now the amount of amazing CAT trainers would have been a lot. Yes. Huge number. Yeah. Unfortunately, that is not the case.
Chalo guys, get back to work.
Okay. So get back to work. Tomorrow all of us will watch the India New Zealand match also, I presume. जिनको क्रिकेट का शौक है प्लीज देखना, टेंशन मत लो. एंड वंश यार बार बार डाल रहा, तो मैं उठकर क्वेश्चन ले रहा हूं. Preparing for 4 months, still not getting 40 marks in any mocks, will it be real? Once, none of us can help you. You have to help yourself. Please go through these papers and see, are you wasting time anywhere in any of the question or the sections? Cut down that time wastage, you will be able to improve. Second thing you need to check for yourself is, which are the questions which you should not be attempting, whether it is quant or verbal or DILR, and you are wasting your time. Cut those out.
So one more thing I want to talk about.
After the paper, you will find quite a few questions which you could have solved correctly, but you did not because you wasted time in doing those difficult, confusing questions. That is what you need to do. Sorry, Jijo, back to you.
So I was saying, once has asked this question to you, once you would have asked this question to 10 million people, 10, 20 people. I think पहले वो stop करो. Right. So at this point in time, it is not the time to ask for advice. Okay, because last 10 days advice, people are going to give very random things. Anyways, through the CAT journey, everybody gives you very different advice. What you have to figure out yourself. This is what I'm going to say. You have to trust yourself. He said, मैं 2-3 चीज bet करूंगा. I'm going to bet on these things. That is my hope, whatever it is. I'm going to bet on these ideas. So let's say BRC, I will bet on this one idea. And I have, let's say, 7 days with me. I can spend, let's say, 5 hours every day. I still have about 35 hours with me. 35, 40 hours, 50 hours, if you can slog with me to put in that effort. What are the 2-3 ideas about just on a bet on, and just completely do it, and then see what happens in the CAT. What happens is that this is what happens. We are not sticking to one idea. So for example, we ask one person one idea, we try it on one mock, didn't work out, leave it, try it with another idea, like become Pakistan cricket team, na? So कुछ भी चलता रहेगा. You have to be consistent, na? India जैसा. रोहित भाई जैसा. वो उसने 2 सेंचुरी 2 मैच में खेला नहीं, नहीं कंसिस्टेंटली करते रहो ऐसे, continue, stick to the, so if those people would have stick to something, they would understand that the improvement they will see, whatever up and down happen. So at least that will be my advice. That's it.
Vasu, the last CDC is next Sunday. That's it. No more mocks for right. And Rhythm was asking, will 6+6+4+4 come? We don't know, right? I mean, I think chances are low, but anything can happen.
Rhythm, I'm very, Rhythm is concerned about, Rhythm is thinking, three soothsayers are here. But we understand sort of what happens. I'm basically saying that.
Juju is a parrot with his cards there.
So मैं ऐसा खड़ा हूँ, I think we are sitting and talking about anyone who says that cat is going to be this. You should stop listening to that person. Okay. That will be your first advice. And then stop asking questions like this. Who cares? If it is going to be 6+6+, if it's going to be 1+1+1+1+1, what if there are 20 single question in DLR? Chota DLR sub. What if? Well, we can.
And it has happened in CAT. I think 99 or 98 CAT.
2003, 2002, 2001. छोटा भी आता था ना, एक छोटा.
Your Danish comment is saying based on what you said. Pakistan.
Krishna feeling burnt out. Krishna कहता है कि sir feeling burnt out. Given around 40 marks, please guide. यार relax करो.
What is it doing? If you're feeling burnt out now, give up. No, छोड़ देना यार. वो क्या रहा है?
यार बहुत मॉक ले लिया, छोड़ दो.
First of all, why are you feeling burned out? If you have, what kind of advice? If you're feeling burned out, get burned out. No, go to the hospital, lie down, go to the ICU. ये क्या logic है? If you're feeling burned out, irrespective of burned out, okay. So if feeling burned out, got 70, please guide. There is no guidance at this point in time. किसने बोला 50 mark लिखने को पहले?
And 50 marks in 4 months is fairly high. So ठीक है, कर लिया ना. अब थोड़ा relax करो. Relax karo, revise karo, and go and move on.
I think what you got to do is, I think everybody knows what they have to do. I think the question is whether you trust in whatever your mind is telling you to do. I think that's what you have to. Just trust these 10 days and stick on those few ideas, and leave the rest.
Yeah. ठीक है, चलो यार, आज लंबा खींच गया है. I think we'll close now. It's 9:40. And,
really?
Yeah. Suddenly I saw the time and thought कि यार ज़्यादा लंबा खींच गया, so we should close now. And yeah, if you don't understand set theory, leave it. If you understand, do it. That's all. There's no magic sauce with any one of us. Just make sure what you know, you do it very well. Okay. Chalo bhai, good night. All the best.
Hello, good night.
I'll close the session.
Okay.